I guess we probably should have known how this one was gonna go after that Cowboys game late in the season. MCDC sure is aggressive, and it kind of bit him in the rear end a bit in the most pivotal game. And when you think about it, the final score was a 3 point difference. If he just kicked those two field goals, change absolutely nothing else about the entire game, just kick the two field goals, the Lions are in the Super Bowl.
Every that's the problem. Everybody, applauded him, and they were like, "Yeah, he's aggressive. You know, he's there. They're there to win." And sooner or later, it does bite you. When you cash in on it, it's great, but you also got to remember that there will be a time that will backfire, and unfortunately, this was the wrong time, extremely the wrong time, and it it just kind of felt like the line started out quick, and I think everyone in America was like, all right, well, Chiefs Lions Super Bowl, here we go.
Yeah.
And it just felt kind of like the Niners said, okay, we took your best punch, it's going to be all right. There's another half a ball to play, and the Lions kind of just took their foot off the gas. They got trick plays, the flea flickers. There was no reason for the flea flickers at all. No reason. Like, why?
Or
It's not like you were down by, four with like a minute left and you needed that play. Just keep doing what you're doing. You had the Niners on the ropes. Why try to get pretty with this stuff? Made no sense. And then, yeah, going for it when you didn't need to, should have played smart. And now Brock Purdy's the man.
if you try to get pretty, at least don't throw to Reynolds.
I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you, Tony Hands, man, he could be playing for the freaking Chiefs next year, man. He fits right in.
Yeah. I think Kadarius Tony probably went incognito in a Lions uniform in this one.
He said, well, I'm not active today, so I'm going to go to San Fran. Maybe I can, get some play.
Yeah. Now with the over aggression by the Lions in this one, on what like the first one, I almost gave him a pass. Like okay, it's probably not the best decision, but this is how you got there. This is how you've been playing all season. If you stop being aggressive now, your players are going to think you don't trust them. You're not
Mm-hmm.
confident in their ability to make the big play. So I kind of give him a pass on the first one, but the second one, come on, it didn't work once. Don't try it
Exactly.
again.
Exactly. Like, all right, we tried it the first time, it didn't work. Let's just continue. We've been able to run the ball. We've been able to pass on them. Like we've got them on the ropes. Let's just be smart. Let's take our points. Nope. We're gonna go for it again. And then you screw the pooch there. And then after that, after when that second half hit, it was like the lights went on in Purdy's mind, and that man just turned it to a whole new
Yeah.
level.
We certainly
He
got.
he he was what Lamar should have been today with his legs.
Yes, yeah, I know. Complete switcheroo, right? The quarterback
Don't
that
want to
runs
jump
all the
ahead,
time.
but I didn't know Brock Purdy could move that quick.
Yeah,
Like you'd see him break the pocket, and I'm like, oh no, he's gonna take a hit. He's done. He's gonna die. And he just was like, he was a man on a mission, and they could not stop him.
he's the quarterback. You're like, just slide, just slide, just slide. No,
And
he
he's like,
rim it
nope.
all 50 yards on the ground.
He's like, this is cool. I'll go for 20-25. He goes, Lions defense, who cares? He's like, where's Hutch? Hutch ain't around.
Yeah,
He was looking for CJ Gardner. He was like, oh, you talking some smack? Come and bring it. No one for miles.
yeah. So we could certainly rip into MCDC all night, but let's give him a break for a minute. Take
Mm-hmm.
his kind of poor decision making out of the picture for a bit. The Lions got
Mm-hmm.
off to a really impressive start. Every draw, every possession of the first half, they were running. They were running down the field. We've been screaming at them for weeks now. They finally had a balanced rushing attack. One drive it was Montgomery, the next drive it was Gibbs. Back and forth, back and forth. They're both lighting it up. We had Jameson Williams sightings all over the place. Although there was quite a little bit of a gap between when we saw him the first time and when we saw him again. But regardless, he was there. Amon-Ra St. Brown was unstoppable for
Yeah,
the vast majority of the game. So aside from Dan Campbell's kind of bonehead decision making, what changed from first half to second half to kind of torch the Lions' chances in this one?
it was that 8-minute period where the 49ers erased a 17-point deficit. They had the fumble, and I'll tell you right now, that catch by Ayuk,
Oh,
the off the face mask, unbelievable.
oh, did it give you PTSD to David Tyree?
No, because that was like some helmet catch, whatever. That catch is way better than the helmet catch. Like, you can't even compare. But it was like I said, it was like the Niners said, okay, we took your best shot. Now we haven't played our best yet, and it's like they flicked the switch, and they were able to get pressure. They got some turnovers, and I'm sorry to tell you, it was the Brock Purdy show. That second half, Brock Purdy played like a could be MVP, which we know he won't be, but he took the game on his shoulders, and here you go.
Yeah. So let's switch gear to talk about the winning side, and I channel it a little bit for the viewing faithful who may not know what the reference is, and to the audio audience later. I'm wearing my Gamecocks garnet in honor of Debo Samuel and the Niners.
Oh, good. Debo, toughed it out. Had the shoulder was acting up. Had his little, back and forth with CJ Gardner during the week here, and Debo makes that offense go point blank. He makes that offense go.
So what did the Niners do wrong in the first half? Because they really just had that one possession where everything was CMC down the field, run, a couple passes, but mostly run. But CMC all the way down the field, they scored the touchdown, showed some life. What did they outside of that possession? What did they do so wrong in the first half?
I think they were just stiff.
The second half, and then just catch the right breaks and go from there. Never look back.
I think they were just stiff. I don't know if it was just they were just shocked that the Lions were coming out so fast. I think they were pressing a little bit. Once they kind of went no huddle and quicker pace, that offense really started to move because I think it got Detroit, rattled a bit. And then it was almost, I don't want to say they were playing playground ball, but it wasn't as stringent as the first half. Like, it was just like, Purdy was like, okay, first read, second read, nothing there, I'm gone. It was a faster paced offense.
How many parallels did you see between this game and last week's game against the Packers? Similar kind of flow to the game and momentum to the game where they just had a horrible first half and then turned it on in the second half and closed it out. What kind of parallels did you see between the two?
Yeah, they were like, I think this week they were better offensively. It just seemed like it's like last week they won, but they just won. The second half of this game, it was like they said, all right, we know what we got to do. Let's play fast and let's just play what we know. And that's what happened. They let Brock do his thing. They started getting Kittle, involved in the game a bit, but they felt looser. I think they didn't feel pressure. And it showed. Everyone contributed. The defense, played loose, started playing faster, was able to get a couple timely turnovers. So for me, I think it was just this game just felt more of a 49er game the second half than last week. Last week they just got by. This game, second half, they turned it on and were the Niners that we know.
Yeah. And how much does this offense? I mean, this was really proven that he had over 130 all-purpose yards. He scored a couple touchdowns. It just continues to be cemented into the ground that this offense needs to run through McCaffrey. He is the engine that makes them go. And when he's on, he is an unstoppable force for this team.
Best back in the league. If there were any questions, answered today. He does make the offense go, but I think when it comes to the overall, I just think Debo brings something. I think it's because Debo is the dual threat. Yes, CMC, run game, pass game, but Debo, for some reason, when he's not in that offense, they just seem to sputter a bit. I don't know what it is, but you got to give CMC his credit. He played well. Debo had some catches, and the second half, this offense looked like the Niners' offense that we know.
Yeah, and to that point, I mean, Purdy, he didn't really make mistakes in this one. They had plenty of incompletions, but none of them hurt the Niners, and he spread the ball around. Devo had a good game. Ayuk had a good game. CMC was all over the place. Kittle got involved late. So was this kind of you've already sung up Purdy's praises a bit, but how important was it for Purdy to have really shared the love in this one?
I think it's important. I think it's important. I think for the Niners to be at their best, everyone has to be involved. I think, CMC and Debo spearhead the offense, and I think as you funnel it through them, everybody else eats. And I think you let Brock just let him go. I think if you run the offense at a no huddle, fast paced type, that's when they're at their best, because teams don't know what's going to happen. They can't. It's not like just one star or even two. You literally have 4 or 5, all pro type guys on this offense. And when you start going no huddle and quick pace, you don't know where the ball's going. And then at that point, Purdy can do whatever he wants. And if that means he wants to get out in the pocket and run a bit, he can do it.
And their defense, the two defenses, well, we thought this was going to be very evenly matched up front, and the difference was going to be made by Detroit's lacking in the secondary. But we really didn't see a ton of pressure from either defensive front. Both offensive lines, for the most part, really stood up and held their own.
They did. The Niners took advantage when they did get the pressure. They were able to cause a fumble. Bosa had some sacks. So I think at the end of the day, Goff may have had some happy feet. I think, once you saw it, once he got some pressure on Goff, some of his throws were a little wide, a little high. And Purdy, when he got pressure, I think he could handle the pressure a bit better. He just seemed, he wouldn't make a stupid mistake. He'd pull the ball down. He'd need a sack if he had to, but he just seemed, he could handle the pressure better. He was able to scan the field, read and make all his reads.
I remember the thought that escaped me before. We were talking about weapons. What was it, Jennings? When Purdy was running out of the pocket and he committed the cardinal sin of all quarterback throws, and sure enough, Jennings in there one-hands it.
One-hands it. Exactly. That's like stuff you do on Madden. And what's funny is they're like, yeah, the cardinal rule. You don't throw across your body. You don't throw it like that. But, Purdy seems to be able to do those things. He doesn't do them often, but when he does them, they rarely come back to bite him. So that's just 49er football, I guess. Brock Purdy style.
Yeah. So, of course, the Niners now advance to the Super Bowl, and they set up a rematch from a few years ago when Patrick Mahomes won his first championship. And, sir, you are unfortunately, I know, not spared from another potential Chiefs title and another week of Taylor Swift in the press box.
Nope, I got Brock Purdy. I'm hanging my hat on him. Brock Purdy is the greatest of all time for this week. For the next few weeks, Brock Purdy. I felt this in watching, this game, whichever team, Niners or Lions, whoever came out of this, the way that these teams played, I feel matches up extremely well with KC and should be able to beat them.
So that's you say that in spite of the fact that this Kansas City defense has continued to prove just how good it is, and it's weird to think of them as a powerhouse because you look at their playoff run, they went through Tua and that Poland offense, that Poland Miami offense, granted in a frigid Arctic conditions, They took down Josh Allen, who was potentially the hottest quarterback in the league at the time, and now they completely shut down Lamar Jackson. Now I don't know how much play calling came into came into factor, or if Lamar just had it in his head that I need to pass, I need to pass, I need to pass. I'm not going to run. I'm not going to be the old Lamar. But that's three very solid, all pro level, Pro Bowl level quarterbacks that the Chiefs defense has just rendered not necessarily useless, but certainly not themselves.
Nope, nope, not buying it. Not buying it. Lamar did. If Lamar played today like he played against Houston, they win. They didn't run. They for some reason, I guess, either forgot to run the ball or just decided not to. And yeah, they were going to throw all game. Made no sense. They didn't do what got them to the dance. Now the Chiefs were kind of like the Lions. They were two different teams on beginning in the first half and then the second half. I'll give the Chiefs defense credit, but it wasn't like Baltimore, was just, this potent offense. They just almost just showed up and were scared to play. They made stupid mistakes and basically gave the game to the Chiefs. Now, I'm not taking, hey, the Chiefs are going. I'm not going to, hey, you're going. But if you were to sit there and, like I said, if you look at the Lions and you look at the Niners, the way they played today, you take the Lions in the first half, Niners in the second half. If those two teams play those halves fully against the Chiefs can't handle it. Chiefs can't. I'm sorry. I don't believe they can. It was the Travis Kelce show. That's all it was. Let's be real. And for some reason, Baltimore couldn't stop it for whatever reason and just didn't run the ball, was just inept on offense. And Chiefs only won by 7, so it wasn't like a blowout.
Yeah. Well, speaking of not being able to stop anybody and also Baltimore players and assets not showing up, that's squarely on the defense in this one. And they really did not come to play. They got this team in a hole early on, and it was enough for the Chiefs defense to kind of coast a bit. So how much of a black eye does that look on this Ravens defense, which was very good all season, to just put their offense in a hole, put Lamar Jackson in a hole, and they just couldn't. They just couldn't come out of the gates early and make a statement.
I'll be honest. I don't think they put him in a hole. If you look at how that game progressed, that defense got better. It was the Baltimore offense. Flowers, I give him credit, had a great game, but you got to protect that ball when you're diving for the end zone. They did run the ball. They didn't do their defense any good. The defense gave up 17 points. That's pretty elite in the NFL. If you're a defense and you're giving up 17 or less, you're pretty good. They held the Chiefs to 17 points. Now, everyone needs to sit there and give Baltimore, even though they lost, give that defense their flowers because it was Patrick Mahomes and Mahomes is great and blah, blah, blah. If you're going to talk him up, even when he only puts up 17 points, then you got to give that defense some credit. So, yeah, and the first half, that defense, started out rough, but they held it tight. The offense is what failed them. They should have freaking scored more. They should have ran the ball. They had a chance to win this game. They just didn't. For some reason, the offense just wasn't there, didn't show up. I don't know what happened, but it is what it is. But I don't think the defense played horribly. I think they got better as the game went on, especially on a couple fourth downs where they were able to stop Pacheco. The defense did all they could as the game went on. They slowed down the offense, but Baltimore's offense was non-existent.
Someone that the one that should slow down, right? And for some reason, I don't know why it took him 18 weeks this season to look like a professional ball player.
The man had one catch.
It was the biggest catch of the game.
And you saw he stumbled and fell backwards. Okay, and then he's pumping his fist and doing his whole whatever. I can't handle it. Like
For those who
if
can't
you
figure out who we're talking about, that is Marcus Valdez-Scantling with his
like he's going to the
game-sealing
Pro Bowl
catch.
or something. Like really, like I can get it. If the man caught 80 passes for 1,000 yards, then you go ahead and you've earned that first down dance and whatever you want to do. But you stumbled and fell and barely caught the ball. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear nothing. Biggest play of the game. They lucked out because Patrick was like, "Please, Lord." He said, "Please, Lord, someone do something," because no one else besides Travis Kelce was catching the ball.
I mean, it also takes a certain amount of kind of brass balls to call that play in the first place. Because that drive was set up perfectly for Baltimore. You figure Casey's going to run the ball, they'll stop them, they'll get the 2 minute warning. They got the whole 2 minute warning to try and come back and tie the game. And not only does Kansas City pass, but they throw this bomb down the field.
But that's Andy Reid. You have to expect the unexpected, and that the reason they probably did that was they probably felt, what, maybe if Baltimore gets the ball back, this is where they score. So is that saying that Andy Reid wasn't feeling the defense? Maybe he was like, oh, maybe my defense is about to break. Let's do this. Let's try something. Hey, it worked. I'll give him credit. It wasn't the prettiest thing I've ever seen. But hey, you know what? But I'll tell you this: if you play like this against them, I think the Niners are going to play a lot better than they did from Super Bowl Sunday. And I'm sorry, I just don't like the Chiefs at all. I think they got lucky. I just do. And I'm not sour grapes. It's just like all week, all the next couple of weeks, we're going to hear, how they handled Baltimore and blah blah blah. They didn't look pretty. You had to go to Travis Kelce, and for some reason Baltimore just decided not to stop him, and that's on Baltimore. It's totally on Baltimore. But look at that game. They weren't that great. It wasn't like a 35-40 point Chief game that we've been used to in the past.
Well, let's talk more about Taylor's boyfriend, because we were talking about who does Baltimore take out of this game, and figure, like, we've been dumping on the Chiefs receivers all year long. So you figure, and Humphrey played in this one, so you would think that they probably wouldn't need that much extra help to take the receivers out of the game. Double down on Kelce, bring someone in over the top to make sure he doesn't beat anyone down the field, and just kind of like spread the box a little bit to take away the underneath stuff. And none of that worked. Kelce was grabbing balls from the jump. He got the touchdown right off the bat to kind of set the tone. That was quite the Kelce of old that we've kind of been missing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, totally. I'll give the guy credit. Yeah, he had a great game, But I think the driving force was Pachenko. Pachenko played solid early in the game until Baltimore was able to, put a hat on him a couple times to kind of slow him down. But like common sense, if you sit there and watch that game, it's like anything else with the Chiefs. The pass game goes through Kelce. Force him to go somewhere else. I would rather you double Kelce and say, okay, Scandling, you're going to be the man. Get your 10 catches for 100 yards. Let me see you do it. But even if that's the case, what this came down to was just Baltimore offensively just was horrible.
Do you think Sarah and Lou, if we be here, have a point below?
Hey, if they want to kiss under, Garner and gold confetti and Brock Purdy holding his MVP trophy, that's fine. Love holds no bounds. Love holds no bounds. I'm fine with that.
Now with Kansas City with Kelce, let's talk a little bit of legacy, because a couple things happened in this game. He broke the all-time postseason record for receptions, passing the great Jerry Rice. How do you think that those records compare? I mean, it's always difficult to compare eras. It's apples to oranges, but I mean, more impressive, less impressive, as impressive, compare Kelsey's postseason career to that of the great Jerry Rice.
Like you said, it's eras, so we enjoy football now in an era where there are more games and things of that nature, so these records just fall, a lot quicker. Um, Rice's era was a dangerous era, man. Like no one was protected. Like you got they lead with the helmets. It was rough. Like it was a totally different era. The defenses got free reign. I'll give Kelsey his due, but I think when we look at these things as these records as they fall, I still think you kind of have to give the nod to the eras of old because it was tougher for them to do it.
And the other legacy aspect we want to compare. Now, Patrick, even with a win, would still be quite a few behind Tom, so he's not there yet. But
This
but
question
but
here.
but
Yeah. Yeah,
but
okay.
Kelsey is creeping up on Gronk. Gronk's hold a fond place in your heart in not one but two uniforms. So now, how does the tight end question of all time compare between Kelsey chasing after Gronk?
It's gonna happen. Gronk retired. Gronk put his body through a lot more than Kelsey did. Let's be honest. Gronk to me is more of a complete tight end than Kelsey is. Kelsey is a better Tony Gonzalez. Let's be honest. Kelsey is a more offensive player than Gronk. To me, Gronk is a total package. Gronk would get his nose dirty and block like nobody's business. When you watch Travis block, he's okay, but I don't think he's a great blocking tight end. I think Kittle is better when it comes to blocking and such.
Oh
You know, if you're I think if you're talking offense, okay, Kelsey's the guy. I'm gonna take that from him, but I'm gonna want a guy who's gonna get his nose dirty. Block downfield, stiff arm. Push guys into camera rigs and such on Monday night games and such. I want that dirty tight end, and Kelsey's not that guy, which is not his forte. It's great, but if he breaks the records, that's fine. You can break them in losing efforts. It's cool.
yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it happens. You
Um,
need some solace.
yeah. So let's turn our attention now to the Super Bowl that we've now set up. Niners. I didn't see the line right away, but Niners I did see are getting the early gambling edge.
Shoot, they should. They
So
better.
now I kind of maybe hold your feet to the fire a little bit because in the last couple weeks, at some one point you said that if Kansas City could pull this off, this would be the most impressive Kansas City championship. So
It would be. It would be because they've hung their hat on their defense. It's honestly their defense is what's gotten them here. No one can sit here and make a case to me that says, Patrick again. Patrick leading the charge. Patrick's numbers have dipped, career lows literally across the board. Their defense has kept them in games, has been what has made them and Pachenko. That's it. If the defense wasn't as good and Pachenko didn't run like he has, they probably would have been bounced in the first round. So, nope. If they win the Super Bowl, then then it's got to be a low scoring defensive battle, and then I will give the Kansas City Chiefs defense their due.
let's look at a little. I mean, we'll go a little more granular next week in a full preview episode. But let's take a little things and talk about now because like we said, Kansas City defense has been what's carried them. How do they stack up against McCaffrey? Or from maybe from a different perspective, do they match up? Do they have a better chance of holding firm up front and keeping McCaffrey from going off? Or do they have a better chance of defending all the litany of options Purdy has to throw to?
Here's the problem. I think Kansas City is great when they can handle one main option. So let's not. We'll take McCaffrey out, right? We'll talk strictly tight end and such. If you look at the Niners with all the other weapons, I don't know if Kansas City's defense for a whole game can hold up. Like I think Ayuk is going to be a massive X factor. I think after this game, I think he's primed. It wouldn't surprise me if he was named Super Bowl MVP if they win. I
Oh,
think I think he is going to have a game. Now I give credit, like I said, I've given credit to the KC defense, but you've got Kittle, you got Debo, and Debo's gonna be healthy. You got Ayuk, you got their fullback, Khrushchev. That guy running routes. He might do a little damage. And you got McCaffrey. So you've got 4 or 5 guys. Their defense hasn't really had to face that. Like who in the AFC is similar to that offensively? I Nobody really.
no, I mean, I guess you could have said Buffalo if Gabe Davis showed a pulse.
Please, whatever. That man has had a pulse since like week 4. So there's really nobody, and they're a fast offense. And the Niners are most dangerous to me when they're no huddle and they're just going, 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 going.
Actually, I guess you could have said Miami too, but they couldn't stay healthy.
Who's their tight end again?
Ooh. Ooh.
Yep, there you go. There you go. There you go. So I'll get Miami in a way, but the Niners run that offense so much better than Miami does. Miami just throws the ball straight down the field, hopes Tyree catches it, and it is what it is. But so no, I think it's really going to test that that Chiefs defense.
And the other side of it now, the Niners defense, you would think that if there was one unit they could take Kelsey out of the game and make things a little more difficult to Patrick, make him trust all these receivers that we've kind of been on a week-to-week basis with. You think it would be the Niners defense. So
Fred Warner. That's all I got to say. That man him, Greenlaw, all those guys. They're fast, and they know this team. This is nothing new. So it's going to be a situation. They're going to look at when they've played them before, and they know that they're going to force the Chiefs to go to those other options. They're going to say, well, if you say you trust them, then you better start throwing to them because Kelsey's getting squat. And you know what? They're going to put as many hats on Pachenko as possible. I think they're going to try to make the Chiefs throw the ball. I think you have to. I think you stop Pachenko and you say, all right, Patrick, if you're the greatest of all time, like everyone wants and pleads to make you, here you go. You're throwing it 40 times a game, and you better hit your marks.
Now when they played your Bucks, that defense gave Patrick fits. Now, granted, a lot of that was due to the fact that their offensive line was ravaged by injuries. So the job by an already extremely talented Bucks defense got a lot easier. But with this Niners defense, are the Chiefs in a similar position where Patrick's going to have a lot of fits caused by the defense, or is it going to be a situation like we saw in the first half of this game against the Lions, where the offense kind of had their way a little bit?
Oh, well, here's the thing. The Chiefs' offensive line is great. That's if, Tooney's going to be healthy and such. But this offensive line has a bad habit of, false starts, and things of that nature. They've got to play a perfect game. And that Niners line is something special. You got Bosa, Armstead. You've got guys on there that are gonna come. That are looking for Patrick, and they're coming for him. And what's gonna happen is, especially if it's a close game, there's probably gonna be a false start on the Chiefs. Might knock them out of field goal range. That's what almost happened today in the game in Baltimore. That line isn't 100% foolproof. So it's going to be interesting to see, but that line is going to have to be on point because Bosa and the boys are coming.
I don't think it takes too much reading between the lines to assume you're rooting for and picking the Niners. Um, but without the full next couple weeks to digest it, what would be your gut reaction as far as the final score?
Ooh, final score. Wow. Wow. 27-24.
Oh, okay.
I'll keep it close. Like I don't think the Niners are going to blow them out, but I don't think the Chiefs are going to put up 30 plus points either. I don't. We've seen what this Chiefs offense is. Like literally, it would just have to be a perfect storm for the Chiefs to put up over 30 on this defense. So I would say 27-24. I could see that.
And what would that mean for Kyle Shanahan to get his comeuppance from a number of playoff failures of years past?
My Brock Purdy jersey's already ordered. I'm ready to go. No. But you never know. I've thought about it. I gotta do whatever it takes, man. Whatever it takes.
Well, you have to replace that Aaron Rodgers jersey bet from the beginning of the season.
Yeah, right, man. I made that bet. Not even 4 plays in. Boom, done. Like, wow. If that's all I had to do, man, I would have made more bets during shoot. Oh man, no, yeah. That's wrong. But that's wrong. But no, I think it's going to be a great game. But I don't trust the Chiefs, and I just feel this is the Niners year. This is it, because we've talked about it. I feel the Niners. They're the team of destiny.
that we called. I think we called them that earlier in the season. We did.
Swift ain't running nowhere. DeAndre Swift isn't playing. It's over. The Eagles didn't make it.
Yes. You have to clarify that one.
I think there were like 4 or 5 Taylor sightings today. Just ruining the game, man. Don't worry. The Niners will handle it. Life will be good. She'll break up with him. She'll write a whole song about sports. It'll be great. It'll be good.
I'm just sad that song won't debut right at Valentine's Day.
Who knows? Maybe she's got one in the back pocket. She's shady like that, man.
Drops it 3 days after the Super Bowl.
Conveniently. That's exactly what's going to happen. Watch. And we'll play that for our theme next season. And
yes.
Laugh at Travis and be like, that's what you get. And you'll never see another Travis Kelce commercial for the rest of his career.
That's right. Well, we keep it convenient for you. If you missed the show or tuned in late, either catch the replay or check it out Monday morning for our audio recap on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. 2 weeks to digest Super Bowl 58. I lost track after 50. I'm not going to lie. But
it's all blur. Letters, L's and V's and ones and whatever. It's a Super Bowl.
Bucks McGee, we're here. Super Bowl. I'm here 2 weeks away. Sure, take us off air.
Comes down to this. I hung my hat and prayed that Captain Lamarca would do me justice, but now I pray for Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy taking down the Chiefs. Oh, Vegas, it's going to be a wild one, sir. Can't wait. 2 weeks to sit. It's always tough, but I'm sure we'll have enough to talk about, and can't wait to have it happen.